the expertise that y'all bring to the table that I don't have.
That's what this podcast is all about, man. That's what it's all about.
Welcome to another episode of Socially Anime, your one-stop shop for insightful, unfiltered anime analysis and commentary. My name is Kuma. Today we will discuss Vinland Saga Season 1, Episode 2. This episode is called Sword. Understand there will be spoilers, so anybody who hasn't watched the episode, we recommend you get out there, watch the episode, come on back and take a listen to our expert analysis, all right? And with me, we have a multilingual anime and manga expert by the name of Goke. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? I am here. I'm ready to review episode 2. Let's go.
Hey, how many languages do you speak?
I mean, 4, but yeah,
Japanese, 4. Korean. This dude speaks Spanish. Oh man, he's great. He's a master. And let's finish up the trifecta here. Of course, we have a native anime and manga expert, literally lived for years of his life in Japan. It's your boy Onyx. Good morning, sir. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's me, it's your boy Onyx. I'm ready to dive into Sword, man.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump right in. We start out in northern England, the earldom of Northumbria, a Vikings base. Okay, hey, do y'all bathe on Saturdays or?
I usually do once a month. It's usually a Saturday. Yeah.
Once a month. Okay, stating at this point that there is a custom for the Vikings that they bathe on Saturdays. And Onyx, can you explain what happens next?
They got attacked at the right time, right? The enemies definitely raided them in the perfect time, and the village was just raided, man. I thought it was historically accurate to how the Vikings did it back in the day.
So you're telling me that was accurate? So they did actually bathe on Saturdays?
Oh, no, I don't know about all that. I was just saying the whole like raiding and fighting.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then they had that dark side where they showed the women possibly getting raped. So
I feel you on that. Yeah, they did show that quick scene. It was like at least 3 women. Yeah, butt naked, of course, Saturday, bathing. And Goke, did you feel for them on that? Did the women in there, did that strike with you at all? Or what do you think? How'd you feel that scene?
Man, I didn't care one bit. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, yeah, dude. Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, so like with this scene, it was interesting because they were raiding these Vikings on Saturday on their day of rest. So, right. So culturally, I feel that this could be a way. This is a reason why cultures change. So it's like our culture bathes only on Saturdays, and now the enemy knows that we do that. So wouldn't it behoove us to change this part of our culture when the enemy knows that this is our day of rest? So I think maybe that, like, this is how cultures change too. Once somebody knows, some type of weakness about you, your culture should alter. And then another thing about this scene that I thought was pretty interesting is that we see Vikings in a way that we don't usually see them, which is nice, playful, fun, happy-go-lucky. And then the English, the other side, are like the savages, the brutes that come in and get them when they're least expecting it, when they're all very happy. So I thought that was really interesting.
You're totally right, man. I finally actually felt bad for the Vikings for the first time. Vikings are so brutal and they're conquerors, and you're completely right, man. I immediately was like, man, that sucks. Dude's just bathing. He's got a spear through his chest. The women, I felt bad for them. So I completely agree with you on that, man.
I mean, even the fish in the river like dipped out, man.
Oh yeah, I caught that too. Yeah, you're right. They showed that snippet at the beginning where the fish, I don't know, what do you think, like chilling? And then they're attacking, there's fire, people are dying everywhere. The fish is like, I'm out, dipped out. Yeah. I wanted to throw in there And you guys, man, this is ironic, but I don't know if you've ever heard of ancient assassins. Now, I'm not trying to, plug them in or anything. I'm just saying, literally, the irony is, I don't know, never heard of this show. Watched it just the other day, and they're talking about William Wallace, right? So this is basically Braveheart, and I'm bringing this up because it's almost exactly like what Goke was just talking about with the cultural changes and things. So the English at one point taking over, trying to literally conquer the Scottish, and their mindset about battle was so ridiculous that they could cross. This is a battle at the Stirling Bridge. If anybody wants to look at it, they could only cross, the English could cross the bridge only 3 men abreast, like shoulder to shoulder, crossing the bridge. For some reason, their hubris was ridiculous. They thought that the Scots would let them all cross, all of the whole English army cross the bridge, set up their defenses before they battled. What do you think the Scots did? They waited until half the army was across, the other half is still stuck on the other side of the river, and then they decimated them and destroyed them. And the English, the whole reason I bring it up, the English were like, what? You're not fighting honorably. Wait a second. You're coming to take over I don't care if you bathe on Saturdays, dude. I'm gonna murder the shit out of you, So I thought that was so ridiculously historically accurate, like what Goke was touching on. Same thing with the Revolutionary War in the United States. You know how they lined up? The dudes had the muskets, right? Hey, stand still while I load my gun to shoot you in the face. And then when you do guerrilla tactics on me, I'm gonna be angry about it. Nah, man, hell no. So brutal scene, but really, really well felt. And I feel like it's historically accurate. Let's move on to the next part. So after this pretty much massacre of the Viking base in Northern England, we move over back. Now we're in Iceland. We're in the village of Thor's, his family, etc. Everybody, Leif Eriksson as well. And we start out with kids that are play fighting. Onyx, man, how did that scene go for you? Did you get anything from that?
Oh, that was hilarious. Like the acting on these kids play fighting was top notch, man. Like, especially at the end when the kid's like, man, I'm always first one to die because I just want to go to Valhalla and eat. Kids are kids, even today. Yeah. Like growing up on a military basis most of my life, I can tell you that I always had stick wars and play fighting and play wars. Not to a point where I'm bruising someone's face and breaking some bones, but
okay, what about you, man?
It's the kids having fun, and it does reflect the culture as well, because there was a mix of boys and girls that were play fighting in their scene too. So there was one girl in there, so yep. It just reflects the culture that you're in, really. And it seems like the worldwide culture is, fighting and all that stuff. It's fun. And within their culture, it goes even a step further, because you get to go to heaven if you're a legit warrior. So
Valhalla.
Yeah, right. You get to go to heaven, Valhalla, if you're a legit warrior. So it's a step further for these kids because of their culture. Yeah.
Damn, great insight, man. Yeah, you're 100% right. So yeah, okay, so after these kids, the quick stick fighting and everything like that, switches over to the next scene. So Leif Eriksson is dipping out again, right? So he's on the docks and he's saying he's getting ready to go to Norway. Thorfinn comes over and he's chatting with him. You guys, any insight, Onyx, on that one?
I just thought it was huge to show Leif. Like, I just think the anime did. Man, it's just awesome. Like, I can't emphasize enough how different Leif Eriksson is.
Yeah.
Compared to the normal Vikings, and I think it kind of has to do with how he's always exploring. So like he probably learned different things on his exploring and explorations, where now he has a different mindset, a different viewpoint, right? Because in the first episode, where going back to our last podcast, he was a warrior just as much as anyone else, because he's adventuring instead of fighting. And now he's having a different mindset of, hey, I'm just going to go explore. And he said, like, later on, he believed in Jesus Christ. I thought that was kind of huge, because Vikings, they don't believe in that. Like they literally torture priests and stuff like that. And he's trying to celebrate Jesus.
Yeah, That was interesting, and but he still kept he's so like I think like he was like a light, like Christian light, because he did say like, you know, my God, Jesus Christ or whatever. But later on when he was talking to Thor, he mentioned Odin as well. So yeah, I think that he was like, you know, a little bit on both sides. But yeah, definitely that was that was super interesting, because yeah, we see in this episode that yeah, they do not F with Christians. And like as far as this scene, it's so funny, man. I was laughing my butt off because could you basically Leif Eriksson, he's going out for a 7-Eleven run, man. He's going out for a beer run. He's like, yeah, man.
No. He said wine. He said wine only.
A beer, alcohol. Yeah.
Alcohol,
you know what
right.
I mean? Yeah, he's going for a beer run. You know, he's like, yeah, man. But could you imagine having to go, like, instead of just going down the street to 7-Eleven, you got to get on a ship and go to like this other place and might not even come back because the waters are so crazy. This guy is making a beer run that is like risking his life. That's so funny. Oh man.
No, that's a great point. What's the commercial with the guy? I don't often drink, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. You know, that guy. That's what I feel like Leif was basically saying. All right, so you've got Leif Eriksson. He's talking about heading to Norway to get himself some wine, maybe some fly honeys, who knows, right? Then he tells Thorfinn, he's like, hey, go tell your dad there's a warship arriving. So now we have the arrival of Floki and the Yams Vikings. So their warship lands, but these guys don't debark. They stay on the ship. What did you get, like, when they first showed these Yams Vikings, like, how did y'all feel about that? Onyx, you want to jump on it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they showed straight up gratitude and respect, man.
Totally.
Like, not only to Thor's, I mean, mainly it was towards Thor's, but you know, a little bit of respect towards the village by not doing the Viking mentality of just automatically debarking and then surrounding the village. They waited for Thor's. It just shows you how great of a past Thor was back in the day. Like, that dude had to be top tier, number one guy, number one Viking.
Hey, Goke, they called him Thors the Troll. What the hell does that mean?
I had no idea, because like obviously in our context right now, trolls aren't cool, especially internet trolls and all that. So when they call him Thors the Troll, yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. Or like, anybody comments below, what is the word troll? What's like the etymology of that word? Because I was lost on that. So if any of you guys listening, drop a comment below on like, why is being a troll a good thing? But just bouncing off of what Onyx was saying, yeah, man, they completely did that. They didn't get on those people's land because of Thor's. Like, I honestly don't think that they did it because they respected those people at all. No, I mean, I don't think they respect those people at all. I think it was just the fact that they honored Thor's. That's the first reason. And then the second reason is Floki is trying to pull the wool over his men, because his men know who Thor's is. But I'm getting ahead of myself, but just eventually he's gonna try to turn his back on him. But he wants to paint this picture of, oh, I respect this guy, there's no way I would do anything shady. So yeah, that's what I see what's going on here.
From what I picked up with Thor the Trolls, was kind of like, back then, a troll was like a monster, and it's so I guess Thor was so powerful and so like inhumanly strong, he was almost like monster like
the troll under the bridge or something.
I could see that. Yeah. Well, damn, I mean, this dude, he's got a little too many titles in my opinion now, because literally Onyx just said that they looked at him like a hero, but then he's a troll, but then he's a father, but then when he's working with the blacksmith, he's so humble, he calls the blacksmith master. So it's like, damn, what is this dude? I'm still confused. I don't really know what's the true essence of this guy. I think we just need a blast into his past, I guess. All right, so I'm gonna skip forward a little bit now. So obviously Thor's comes out, he regards Floki, he gives the respect, he's like, yes, you guys can land, you can debark, and they do. He meets up with Floki, And the next thing, of course, they're sitting in his house around a fire. And he welcomes him into the house, and they have the conversation from there. Now, this is a lot. So who wants to start out with this one? Let's throw this one. Hey, Onyx, let's start with you again, man. So the conversation between Thors and Floki.
Yeah, my first response when Thor came out and greeted them at the boat real quick, I just thought that was a true warrior, man. He made himself immediately announced. He wasn't trying to hide in the village, hide in the crowd. He said, "Hey, I'm Thors, I'm right here."
True.
And then he immediately tells Floki, like, "Tell me your plan," out in the open from the whole village. It wasn't like, "Hey, let me invite you inside and then let's go over what you want." Like, state your business
Say
now.
it up front. Say it.
It kind of kind of what Goke was saying earlier about how, Floki was trying to put on this wolf cloak of, deceiving his fellow crewmates. Like, Thors was the total opposite right there. Just back.
Oh, you guys are still right.
Yeah, just in back-to-back scenes. I thought that was great. But the conversation inside, the thing that I really picked up on was Thorfinn saying, "Oh, my father is angry." Like, the way he said it in his facial expression kind of shows that Thors never gets angry very often,
right?
Which says a lot, because I mean, the dude's a Viking, probably was buried in blood and battle in the past, and for him to just come home and not get angry like that, like, man, I thought that was some major. I definitely want to see how he was like in the past and how he changed now, because even Floki said, like, oh, he looked at the villagers that were peeking in on the conversation and said, "Oh, the village has changed you, like, in a negative way.
Right.
Like, you're not a man anymore. You don't want to fight. You're not a true warrior." Those were kind of the real things I picked up on that.
Definitely. Yeah. So Goke, so Floki comes in here, like Onyx was saying, he's reporting to him what we saw in the opening, right? He's like, "Hey man, the English straight up massacred all of these Vikings in Northern England. And oh, by the way, they actually killed Gunhilda, who is the sister of Sven, the king of Denmark. So basically a war's going down. And hey, come on, let's go. Let's get the honor. Let's get the glory. You can come back in. All is forgiven, et cetera, et cetera." What's your take on that part, that conversation?
The biggest thing for me was Thorfinn being like, "Oh, dang, yeah, my dad's mad." And also another big thing was the shade that Floki was throwing.
Yes.
He used words like, "You ran away, all will be forgiven,
deserter."
Yeah. You become soft. So
the village has changed you, like Onyx said. Yeah.
The village has changed you. So he's kind of like testing him in a bit, like he is kind of testing his patience as well, because
poking the bear.
He's poking the Kuma. And it's like, I think that was probably another reason why he was getting angry, because this guy was, taunting him essentially. And then one last thing about this scene, it calls back to the first episode, because I guess we kind of learned that when he killed the guy underwater and then he dropped the sword and then he went and he got on that beach, that's when he dipset and he left. And then
that's when he left.
Yeah, that's when he left. And then also what we learned is that he left and he masked his death. So he faked his own death to make it look like he died.
There you go.
But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But man, it's crazy.
Man, you're good. You're good. This is where Kuma would like to throw in a little bit of an opinion here. I want to throw you guys something real quick. So let me try to blaze through this a little bit, right? So Floki is saying you have the ability to come back. We'll forgive all your sins, right? We're not going to look at you as a deserter anymore. Come on, man, you could come in. Thors is like, not interested. I got a good life here. Everything is chill. So this is when Floki's like, "Well, I got a boss named Sigvaldi, and this dude kind of said I have to get you to come back. So if you don't come back, some things might happen." He never says it directly, but they start to show. Remember the boys that were walking through? He bumps into the Viking dude. The dude is like taller than me. He's like 6'7". He looks down at him like, "Oh." Did y'all not get that feeling that it's like, if you don't come with us, we about to massacre everybody here. So basically, it's a lose-lose. You can't stay, you gotta go. You stay, we kill everybody. You come, we don't. So it's a lose-lose. Did y'all feel that?
This is the classic story of somebody's shady past, quote unquote shady past. I mean, yeah, gosh, he was a Viking coming back to bite him in the butt, and you have to pay for the stuff that you did. And dude, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what Thors is doing, and he knows what's up.
Now, my question.
And also, just to
sorry, go ahead, Onyx.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, just to throw out one last bit, like towards the end, at the very end of their conversation, and then Floki gets on the boat and departs and says, "I'll meet you on the battlefield." Like, that just shows like how much of a man I think Thors is, because Thors easily could have said, "Yeah, I'm going to join. I'll meet you," and then dipsetted, took the villagers, left the village, and made a new village. I think it shows you that even as shady as Floki is, like, he knows Thors is a man of his word.
I want to throw out something that I want to see if y'all can run with me on this one. Episode 1, I felt really heavily for that slave, and how they made it such a big point to bury him under the Aurora Borealis and all these things. Is there any real difference between Thors and a slave at this point? Because Thors is the man. I love his character. I'm like, man, this dude is amazing. But when Floki comes in and hits him with this lose-lose situation, how is Thors any different from that slave? He can't stay, but he has to go. So no matter what he does, he has to go back into this life. One option, go back into that life that he said he didn't want no more, killing and killing and killing and killing. He got tired of it. Or if you don't want to come, we'll take everything you love and we'll burn it down and kill it. So it's a lose-lose. So he's a slave as a Viking too. He's going against the protocols. You got to come to battle as a Viking. No Viking can say no. You got to get to Valhalla. It's like he's organically, authentically going against just about everything that is a Viking. And so my question to you guys is, how is he different from the slave? And just let that marinate in your mind for a second. Is he any different from that slave?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I don't think he is any different from the slave at that point of view.
Well,
like
thank you, Mr. Onyx. I appreciate that, sir.
Like, his hands are tied.
Yes.
Maybe not physically, but definitely mentally. And he has to go back into an environment that he tried so hard to escape.
And that is exemplified by the fact, like, to go back to what you were talking about, Onyx, when Floki leaves, this is a super powerful scene because Thors is now standing right on the edge of the dock again, and he's agreeing. Floki's making his final statement, and as they're sailing away, what happens? The crowd around Thors, the young man, he crouches down and he jumps up and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to war." When you see that scene, everybody is cheering. Thors' head bowed down. He turns around and just sulks away. That to me was epic too. He's like, God damn, I have to go back into this life that I gave up 15 years ago. So yeah, I want to tie that into the next part. So now we go back to the kids are play fighting again with the wooden swords and everything. But now your boy Thorfinn is acting a little different. Goke, tell me about that scene, man. So this is the second time the kids are play fighting, but what has changed?
Thorfinn is much more aggressive. He's not following any of the rules of the games, and he is going hardcore. Kind of like what Onyx was saying earlier. When you were kids, you're just playing, but you're not actually hitting anybody to actually hurt them. But he actually is breaking bones, getting bloody noses, and he broke a kid's arm. So, and everyone's matching his intensity too, if you notice, because they're getting mad at him. So they all band together and they got that staff and they like pretty much beat the crap out of his back with it. Yeah. But yeah, man, like he's ready. He's excited after seeing Floki and all those guys and all the soldiers and all the John's Vikings. He's ready to go. He's super aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, just to tie in what you said before the kids fighting, like where the villagers were all cheering. That's just the Viking mentality again. And none of them, have been in a battle. Thors did such a great job keeping them away from the battlefield that, like, they're just hyped for the first battle in their first war, and they can do what, their ancestors did and what their dads did and their grandfathers did. where he's been in that environment, he knows what it's really like, and he was trying so hard to make a change the ways, I guess, in that sense.
And since you're so spot on with that, let me connect that to the very next scene now. So you're talking about how Thors has done a great job of really keeping this isolated village in Iceland out of the blood, the gruesome, the battles, the murders, and everything that's going on. Now we have the next scene where we have basically, now we're back inside the home of Thors and Helga with their daughter and their son. And now Thorfinn is upset. He's angry. He just came back from the stick fighting and he's got an attitude. Tell me about this part between Thorfinn and Thors and what he found and where it went from there.
Yeah. So yeah, the kid, he's pissed and he's looking for a real weapon. He's like, I'm done playing with these kids. I'm done playing with all these other kids. So he's looking for the weapon. His sister finds him and she's like, what are you doing, man? And he ends up finding like a legit super sharp sword, as we saw, which harkens back to the name of this episode, the sword. So it's also, I feel like the name of this episode, the sword, is the sword that Thorfinn finds, the sword or the life of the sword that Thors can't escape from. Yeah. So I feel like the name of this episode, it can go so many different ways. But yeah, he finds the sword and then his dad sees him with the sword. And dude, I mean, he's great. He's like, hey man, like, dude, you don't have any enemies. Like, who are you gonna kill with this sword?
Well,
like,
let me help you out. Let me quote it for you. Pick it back up. He literally says to him, hey, a sword is a tool for killing people. Who are you planning to kill with this? Thorfinn says, the enemy. And Thors replies, you have no enemy. No one has enemies.
My very first reaction to all that was love at first sight, right? When Thorfinn saw the weapon and armor.
Yeah.
It kind of like love at first sight. And it kind of reminded me to a personal experience where growing up as a military brat, I was never allowed to go into my parents' closet and into the gun safe.
Yep.
And, as a little kid, I wanted to look for it and get a little sneak peek. And I look for it and I find it and I see the gun and it's cool, but I'm a little bit scared to touch it, to move it, to do anything with it, right? And I didn't see any of that fear. Like Thorfinn straight up just picked that up and he was ready to just...
Something? He said, this is beautiful or something.
Yeah, he was ready to just keep it forever and go on about his warrior life, man.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome dad moment, right?
Yes.
Sees it and doesn't yell at him. He grabs a sword so hard it pierces his own skin.
Yes.
And he just calmly tells Thors, like, why do you want a weapon that's, meant as a tool to kill someone? And then he said, who are you going to kill? Because, the sword is a tool for killing people. And then, he goes back in saying, you have no enemies. No one has enemies. I think Thorfinn is too young to grasp that concept. So, he ends up, doing what little kids would do, just get angry and run off.
I think Thorfinn is kind of doing everything according to the plan. Like you almost can't blame him for loving the sword, picking it up and everything like that. And then the last part for me, like you said, it was kind of like a parenting father-son moment. But the best part about it is that Thorfinn kind of calls his own father out at the end. He says to him, basically Thors is trying to tell his son, Thorfinn, it's not okay to kill people, And he's like, wait a second. I know that you're leaving to do that exact thing. I know tomorrow you're leaving to go to war. You're going to kill people, aren't you? And he's like, to me, this was a heavy, do as I say, not as I do, parent to son conversation. And that's the reason why it didn't end up going well, at odds with each other at the end of that. And that's why he ends up running out of the house. Okay, so after this extremely epic scene, so we have a shift. We start to end up in the island of Streymoy. And what we end up having is this pretty interesting scene. We've got Vikings everywhere, and we've got a Christian monk tied up to a post. He's having this thrown at him. So Goke, can you explain to me how did this scene hit you?
I felt really bad for the monk. It just goes back to the persecution of Christians throughout history. when I was living in Korea, there was a place where Christians were beheaded, and they used to throw the heads in the river that was next to the cliff. So that was like a really big thing. Once Christianity the missionaries started to come into South Korea. So anyone who proclaimed to be a Christian, that would happen. Also I know in Japan, I forget what century it was, but when Catholicism and Christianity started to be brought over there, they had a test. So they were against Christianity as well. And they had a test with the Christians, essentially telling them to step on a cross or step on a picture of Jesus Christ. And if you didn't do it, you were killed right on the spot. So it just goes back to that whole, something different, the persecution of a religion. So yeah, man, like it was pretty crazy, and they were having a really good time with it.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Onyx, man, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just to piggyback off Goke, it started in 1549. That's the Endo period when Christianity tried to start in Japan, and they're fighting around there, the Endo period. But I sound like a broken record, but I can't say it's enough, man. They did such a great job of how different Leif Eriksson is. Like, this dude is on his mindset, mental game is on a whole new level.
Yeah.
Because he wants to celebrate, Jesus Christ, and it kind of shows that, like, his straight up, like, it ties into his actual character and, like, his backstory. He was the #1 explorer for them, and he was always exploring, sailing around the world. And he probably learned and picked up a few different viewpoints, and it shows. And I just thought they did a phenomenal job with that.
So it sounds like you're saying he's like an evolved version of your everyday Viking. He's not just your bloodthirsty killer. He's elevated. He's on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean, like Goke said earlier in this podcast, he still has, Viking ideas and shows, viewpoints. Because, he said like, oh, today's a perfect day to sail because Odin is in great spirits. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely looking at things outside the box. He's not looking at things the traditional Vikings way.
I love it. And that's a little too appropriate because, as you guys very well know, the Viking culture, something we celebrate, we put it in movies. But if you really want to think about who's well known, everybody pretty much could say that they know Leif Eriksson. So let's shift on. So you have these Jomsvikings, Vikings, right? And you have the other Vikings. I don't know what to call them yet, and I'll bring that up a little bit later. But tell me what you guys noticed the difference. The Jomsvikings, Vikings, they're not like these other Vikings. So Goke, what you notice any difference?
They seem to have a lot of discipline. The Floki himself calls out these other Vikings. They're like, yeah, you guys have zero discipline.
Right.
And you can see that within their war camp, with their just teasing the monk. But the guy he's talking to, he straight up says, oh, well, they are disciplined. They just don't like Christians. But yeah,
Great point.
The Jomsvikings, they're on another level, super disciplined, stick to the rules, all of that. So, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about how different Thor's was and how he abandoned them. He ran away, essentially. He ran away. And that's a huge thing. Like, could you imagine somebody in that line running away like that? Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, these Jomsvikings, hardcore. I can't wait to see all like their different fighting techniques and all that stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, it definitely seems like Floki's the more higher approach. Like, I'm taking the higher, not necessarily the higher road, but he's like, we're more professional, we act more professional, we eat and drink in royalty type of vibe. Where Axelad's like, hey, everyone knows I'm the leader, but at the same time, my men have freedom to run around and do whatever they want.
You're right. Definitely extremely different. And the only other thing I could throw on there is that obviously, Askeladd's Viking groups, these kind of more brutal dudes, are the ones that are throwing axes, and it's just a fun game, while the Jomsvikings are literally standing in a perfect formation, like they're in a line. They're not even in battle. They're not drinking or anything. So you guys are completely right. It's showing to me, it's like class versus trash, basically, is almost what it's like. So now we're moving inside this tent, right? So now we've got this wonderful conversation between Floki and Askeladd.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah, the oh my goodness, the OMG convo. So let's start out with Goke. Come on, sir. What'd you think?
The wonderful conversation. I like how you
the oh my god.
Yeah, I like how you term being a traitor and killing Thor is a wonderful conversation.
You know, I was trying to be polite, man. I was just trying to be polite.
These guys are terrible. Dude, this is terrible, man. But you know, this is an anime. One of his parents, if not both of his parents, if not his whole entire family, Thorfinn's family, has to die in order to him to have the hero's journey.
Shout out to
you.
Yeah.
So, dude, Floki is straight up ready to kill Thors, all the people from his land that are going to be on that ship, and he's essentially hiring Askeladd to do it. Now, I haven't seen anything beyond this episode, but dang, man, it sucks, but he's got to go to make the hero's journey for Thorfinn. That's what I think.
Okay, you want the heroes. Hey, Onyx, I got a question, man. Why on God's green earth? Well, I don't get it. I'm not even joking. This is not even me playing around on the podcast, man. I honestly don't understand. Why does Floki want to kill Thors? Please tell me, my friend. I don't get it.
I have no idea, man. Thors is that dude. Like, the fact that he's hiring someone to do it confuses me, because if he wanted Thors to die, he should have just wiped him and the whole village out when he had the chance. Floki's army compared to that village is nothing. Like, he is way over the top powered. Outside of Thors, they don't have any, there's no one in that village that can fight. Like, let's be honest.
Dude, that
so
go on, man.
I don't understand why he's hiring Askeladd. Is Askeladd some mercenary Viking? Like, he's not even a real traditional Viking now. He's just some mercenary. Seems like Askeladd's only doing it for the gold, the 5 pounds and the cargo and the ship.
5 pounds of gold.
Dude,
wonderful question. Wonderful question. I got a lot. Actually, I got a lot. So go first, man. I got a lot.
I'll just say this a little bit, man. They wouldn't be cornering my boy, my real boy, man.
Oh God, here we go.
You already know, bro. They wouldn't be cornering that dude, man.
Yeah. Dude, all right. So that question that you asked, Onyx, I'm tackling it too. It's a no-brainer why he's hiring the dude to kill Thors. Thor, he's jealous. He's jealous of Thors. Thors is a legend. Clearly, Thors is a legend. Everybody respects him, and the fact that Floki's men probably have no idea that he's at this other dude's camp hiring him to kill Thors, because again, you saw his men are very, very they're on a different level.
Yeah.
They're on a different level. They follow the rules. They don't abandon. So him killing another Yams Viking behind his back, it's not okay. So that's why he's doing it. He's jealous. Thor's a beast.
Jealousy. Huh.
Yeah, it's true. That makes sense.
Kuma, what do you think? Oh, go on, Onyx.
Okay. Let me be completely honest with you guys. So when I see this part, so first of all, I was confused about Floki in the first place. So you remember, let's rewind to episode 1, the initial battle, the amazing battle scene on the ships. And this is 15 years ago when Thors was still a Viking, obviously, in the midst of all the battle and carnage and everything. Now, the other gentleman that he was fighting with, the other Viking, the big dude that did the super slash through the mast and everything, I thought that was Floki. I did. I wasn't paying attention right or something. I thought that was Floki. So I actually had to go back and watch it. And he's not Floki at all. That dude's name is Thorkel. So I'm even more confused. He says to Thorkel, he says, when Floki approaches, bring up the front line. What the hell does that mean? Are they enemies? Or were they on the same team? So now I'm confused as hell, because it doesn't make sense. They had to be allies, right?
They're all Yams Vikings. They're all Yams Vikings.
So, okay, so maybe this is just a
Onyx,
military tactic, right? So when Floki approaches, like maybe Floki was reinforcements, right? When Floki approaches, bring up the front line, like, because the battle wasn't going well. Okay.
Yeah, I think that what you're talking about, I think they were enemies. They were just fighting each other, trying to get more land and more power. And then, but now, there's a bigger threat. So they're all combining to take out the bigger threat. But yeah, I mean, Thorkel was the guy I went brain dead. Yeah, they won't be cornering my boy Thorkel, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I don't know. Thank you for that insight, but I'm still confused. I can ride with the idea of the jealousy. I also completely understand what you're saying, Goke. He can't do it outright because that will ruin his Viking persona. It might even prevent him from going to Valhalla. It's not an honorable killing, right? So I see all that, but then he's still hiring what seems to me to be a mercenary. And literally the last statement is kill Thors. Done. I'm confused. I'm excited. I'm shocked. I'm surprised. But that's where I left off at.
Yeah, I agree with Goke, because if it wasn't some, like Floki trying to put on a coat here and deceive his men, he would just killed Thors and been done with it at the village. He would have just killed all the villagers, left no witness, and been done with it.
Been done with it, yeah.
Yeah, but he cares what those men think. He cares what those guys think, because they're going to look down on him for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they found out. That's what I think. I could be wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a great part to discuss, that conversation between Floki and Askeladd. So now I have questions for both of you gentlemen. I would love to know, what are your predictions following up on this? Now you know that Thors is being forced. He has no option. He's going back to war. We know that Thorfinn is not happy about it. He's bucking. We know Helga. We know the daughter. They're stuck. We know. I remember. So let me. Who I want to quiz? I'm gonna quiz Onyx on this. Do you remember who else is also going to be sailing with Thors?
Yeah, Leif Eriksson.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? So I want y'all to tell me what you think about all the above. What do you see happening next, coming up in the Vinland Saga episode 3? Let's start out with Onyx, man. You can go first, man.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. They're just going to kill Thors off. My boy Thorkel is going to take over the main character spotlight, and it's good. It's a good anime business decision right there. No, but seriously, man, like I would hate to see Thors go out like that. Man, there's no way that they can take him out.
No, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
Maybe Leif Eriksson, the explorer, has something up his sleeve that he can help Thors get out of that situation. But I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Onyx. Goke, your opinion, sir.
Well, Kuma, I kind of already said a bit of my predictions. Dude, so guys, I think that Thors is gone. He's going to get killed. That's my prediction. Yeah. No, dude, but dude, of course he's going to get killed. Come on. Of course he's going to get killed. How else? Batman's parents need to die for him Bruce Wayne's parents need to die for him to become Batman. Whatever Thorfinn becomes, his dad has to die for that to happen, which sucks because I've liked him thus far. But here's one kind of interesting prediction. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you actually think this is an interesting prediction or not. Or you guys let me know if this is an interesting prediction. So we were talking about Dan. I want to kill Halfdan, and he's like, "Oh, Halfdan's not your enemy." So I'm thinking that even though Halfdan is like a piece of crap, I think maybe sometime in this story, the enemy of my enemy is going to be my friend. So I'm thinking maybe Halfdan is actually going to somehow assist Thorfinn in some way in the future. I could be wrong, but that's like my way prediction off. But next episode, I think Thors. I like that. Next episode or two, I think Thors is done. Dunsky. Yeah. And I don't really think anything about Leif Eriksson being on the ship, just because he's not a warrior. He's a great sailor, so maybe we'll see some dope things like that. But everyone has said he's not a warrior. So as far as action is concerned, I'm not really expecting much from him. But we'll see. Those are my predictions.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, ye of little faith. You know what? I'm tired of y'all throwing Thors under the bus. Did you not see him fighting in episode 1? Here's my prediction. This dude is going to come out of nowhere. He's going to be like, Yoga Flame. He's going to do something crazy. And you're not going to actually see him die. All joking aside, I think he's going to disappear, but that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to die. I know y'all hating on my man, but I mean, come on, he's epic.
There's no hate. There is no hate. I love Thors. I have zero hate.
I just don't want to see him go.
It's okay. It's okay, man.
Okay, I got over it. But okay, I hate to say it. I really want to be the odd man out, but I agree with you guys. You're completely right. You explained it perfectly. I know he's got to go. I know Thorfinn is going to be the next in the line. And
it's Thorkel, bro.
I just don't want to see him go, but I agree.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Thorfinn needs Thorkel. He needs to let Thors die, let his dad die, join up with Thorkel, and let Thorkel raise this boy.
Are they related? I mean, we got Thors, Thorkin, Thorkel, Thorfinn. I mean, are they all related?
Thorfinn, Thor
5, Thor 6.
Man, that's a good foreshadowing right there. Like, maybe the show's foreshadowing with their names. Who knows, man?
You know what? I think so.
Oh yeah, dude. Maybe they are foreshadowing. Like, what is that anime that Onyx is obsessed with?
One Piece.
One Piece.
Just to throw another One Piece reference out there with this is like when you were talking about Halfdan, the first thing I thought was, you know, like how he was a trash. Like Halfdan is kind of like a mountain bandit in the world of pirates, right? So Halfdan is kind of like the lesser player down in the world of the Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I see that parallel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, that concludes this episode of Socially Anime. We hope that you enjoyed our breakdown of Vinland Saga Season 1, Episode 2, called Sword. If you liked this podcast and would like to hear more, go ahead, subscribe on YouTube and receive any updates as we post more in-depth analyses of your favorite anime. Make sure you hit like,
and
hit share.
Hit that like, hit that smash like button for us, hit the share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let us know in the comments what your guys' prediction is. Let us know how you're feeling about this episode overall and what you guys feel.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your day. Bye.
Onyx out.
Peace.